That line of ants on your kitchen counter is not the problem. Those ants are messengers. They are the ones you can see. Underneath your house, behind that wall, inside that crack in the foundation, there is a colony, thousands of ants, and one queen. She has never set foot on your counter. She never will. You sprayed them yesterday. You wiped the trail with vinegar. You laid a line of cinnamon across the windowsill. This morning, the trail is back. It will keep coming back, because you have been killing the messengers, and the queen is still laying eggs. There is a powder that costs less than $1. It sits in the laundry aisle of every Walmart in the country. It is safe around your dog, your cat, and your grandchildren. And it does not kill the ants on your counter. It uses them. It turns them into the delivery system that carries the poison straight to the queen. Here is what happens when you spray that trail with a can of ant killer from the hardware store. The spray hits the ants. They die. You wipe them up. The counter looks clean. You feel like you solved the problem. You solved nothing. Those ants were foragers. That is the word for the worker ants you see marching across your kitchen. Foragers are the ones the colony sends out to find food and bring it back. They are runners, scouts, and they represent about 5 to 10% of the total colony. The other 90%, the queen, the larvae, the nurses, the rest of the workers, they never come out. They stay deep inside the wall, or under the slab, or behind the baseboard. The spray does not reach them. It was never going to reach them. But it gets worse. When you spray a repellent chemical near an ant trail, the surviving ants do not simply retreat. Many species respond with a survival behaviour that pest control professionals call budding. The colony detects the chemical threat and splits. One nest becomes 2, sometimes 3. The queen, or one of the queens, some species have several, relocates deeper into the structure. You started with one colony behind the kitchen wall. Now you may have 2, one behind the kitchen wall and one inside the bathroom ceiling. That $8 can of spray did not reduce your problem. It multiplied it. So the ants keep coming, and you keep spraying, and the colonies keep splitting. 2 cans a month through spring and summer, $8 each. By August, you have spent more on ant spray than you spent on groceries in a week, and the trail is still there every morning. The question is what the exterminator knows that you do not. The answer is not a better poison. The answer is a slower one. A queen ant never leaves the nest. She cannot forage, she cannot hunt. She eats only what the workers bring her. And the way they bring it is stranger than most people realise. When a forager finds food, a drop of juice on your counter, a crumb by the stove, she does not just eat it. She has 2 stomachs. One is her own, the other is called the social stomach. It is a holding tank. She fills it, walks back to the nest, and feeds the other ants directly, mouth to mouth. Scientists call this trophallaxis. It is how ant colonies distribute food. Every bite the queen eats was carried inside a worker's body and delivered face to face. This is the key to everything, because if a forager picks up food that contains a slow-acting poison, one that takes a day or 2 to kill, She does not die on your counter. She walks home. She feeds the nurses. The nurses feed the larvae. And somewhere deep in that nest, she feeds the queen. Every member of the colony eats the same contaminated meal, delivered by their own sisters. The powder I am going to show you does exactly this. It does not kill on contact. It does not repel. The ants cannot taste it. They walk right up to it, eat it, fill their social stomachs, and carry it home like groceries. It is a mineral called borax, sodium tetraborate. You know it as the white box in the laundry aisle. 20 mule team. Your grandmother almost certainly had a box of it under the sink. When an ant swallows borax, her digestive system converts it into boric acid. That acid shuts down the process her cells use to make energy. She cannot digest food. She cannot absorb nutrients. She starves from the inside. And because ants cannot vomit, there is no way to get it out once it is in. But this only works, and here is the part most people get wrong, if the ant lives long enough to make it home. This is the room where most people lose. Not because the method is difficult, because the instinct is wrong. The instinct is to make the poison strong. If a little borax kills ants, a lot of borax should kill them faster. That logic works with bleach on a countertop. It does not work here. A study from the University of California at Riverside tested different concentrations of boric acid in ant bait. What they found is the number that matters for this entire video. At the right concentration, fewer than 15% of worker ants died in the first 24 hours. 80% were dead after 14 days. The colony collapsed. At a high concentration, the workers died fast. On the counter, in the trail, right next to the bait. The queen never received a drop. She kept laying eggs. The colony recovered within a week. The difference between killing a colony and feeding a colony is a ratio. Here is the recipe. 1/2 teaspoon of borax, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 1 cup of warm water. Stir until everything is dissolved. That is it. The borax concentration in this mixture is roughly 1 to 2%. Weak enough that the ant feels fine for a full day after she drinks it. Strong enough that she will be dead in 48 hours. Soak a cotton ball in the liquid. Set it on a jar lid. Place the lid near the trail. One thing to watch for. If you set the bait and the ants walk right past it, they come close, touch it with their antennae, and turn away, you may not have sugar ants. Some species prefer grease and protein over sweets. These are sometimes called grease ants, and the sugar water will not interest them at all. The fix is the same ratio of borax, but mixed into a 1/2 teaspoon of peanut butter instead of sugar water. Flatten it thin on a piece of cardboard and set it by the trail. Same principle, different bait. The borax still does the killing. The carrier just changes to match what that colony is actually looking for. Now, here is what happens when you get the bait right. The first forager finds the bait. She tastes it. It is sweeter than anything on your counter. She drinks. She fills her social stomach. She walks home and feeds the nest. Within an hour, more foragers come. By the end of the day, there may be a line of ants going to and from your bait station that is thicker than the trail you had before. This is the moment most people fail. You set the bait last night. This morning, you walk into the kitchen and there are more ants than you have ever seen. They are swarming the cotton ball. There is a thick black line from the baseboard to the jar lid. It looks worse. It looks like you made the problem worse. You did not. You made it work. That surge means the foragers found the bait, reported it to the colony, and the colony sent reinforcements. Every one of those ants is filling her social stomach with your borax solution and walking it straight to the queen. That thick trail is not an infestation. It is a delivery route, and every trip is a dose. Do not wipe it up. Do not spray it. Do not move the bait. Do not clean the trail. That trail is the path your poison is travelling to reach the one ant that matters. If you spray the trail with ant killer right now, you destroy the delivery route. The surviving foragers scatter. The queen stops receiving doses. The colony buds. You are back to square one. Except now, you have 2 colonies. The hardest part of this method is doing nothing. Leave the bait for 3 full days without disturbing it. On day 2, you may still see heavy traffic. On day 3, the numbers will thin. By day 5, you will see stragglers. By day 7 or 8, the trail is gone. Not because they found a different path, because the colony is collapsing. The queen is dead. No new eggs. The workers that remain have no one to feed, and no one feeding them. For larger colonies or species with multiple queens, it can take 2 weeks. Replace the bait every 3 days with a fresh batch. Keep the cotton ball moist, and keep your hands off the trail. Here is how you know whether it is working or not. If the ants are feeding on the bait, walking up to the cotton ball, drinking from it, and walking away with full bellies, the method is working, period. Even if the numbers have not dropped yet, the feeding is the proof. The dying comes later. If, after a full week, the ants are still ignoring the bait entirely, not touching it, not coming near it, that is a different signal. Either the bait has dried out, or you have a species that wants protein instead of sugar, which means switching to the peanut butter version. But if they are eating, do not change a thing. Patience is the method. The borax needs time to travel through the colony, mouth to mouth, nurse to larva, worker to queen. Rushing it is how you end up back at the hardware store buying another can of spray. You know the brand name Terro. Small plastic bait stations, usually $5 or $6 for a few drops of liquid in a little tray. I want you to go home and read the back of the package. The active ingredient is borax, the same compound you can buy in a 4-pound box in the laundry aisle for $5.97. That box will make enough bait to treat every ant trail in your neighbourhood for a year. A single Terro bait station contains less than an ounce of liquid. you are paying more than $5 an ounce for a mineral that costs about 9 cents an ounce in the laundry section of the same store. I do not say this to be unkind to the people who make taro. They make a convenient product, and it works. What I am saying is that the active ingredient has been sitting in your grocery store for 135 years. The brand is older than most of the houses in your county. And the reason nobody taught you to mix it yourself is that there is no money in teaching you. There is money in selling you a new can of spray every 2 weeks. There is money in the service call. There is money in the monthly treatment plan. There is no money in a 50-cent cotton ball that solves the problem once. Now, the safety question, because I know you are asking it. Borax has been registered with the Environmental Protection Agency as a pesticide since 1948. Its mammalian toxicity is low. It is far less toxic than the chemical spray under your kitchen sink right now. You would have to ingest a large amount to cause harm. That said, you are still placing a bait. Place the cotton ball inside a shallow lid. Set it where you see the trail, along the baseboard, behind the stove, under the edge of the cabinet. Keep it where your dog cannot lick it, and where small hands cannot reach it. A high shelf, a closed cabinet with the door cracked just enough for the ants behind the refrigerator. The ants will find it. They are better at finding food than your toddler is. If you have ants in the yard, the same recipe works outside. Set the bait near the mound. Weight the lid with a stone so the wind does not take it. Here are the 2 things worth remembering. The first is that every ant spray you have ever used killed the ants you could see and protected the one you could not. The queen lived. The colony survived. The trail came back. The second is that the ants' own biology, the way they share food mouth to mouth, is the only delivery system that reaches the queen. A slow, weak bait travels farther inside the colony than the strongest spray ever will. The one thing to do tonight: 1/2 teaspoon of borax, 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 cup of warm water. Soak a cotton ball. Set it by the trail. Then walk away and let the ants do the rest. Tell me in the comments what kind of ants are giving you trouble this summer and where in the house you are seeing them. I read every one of these. If you like this video, subscribe for more.